Let's do some problems about expanding polynomials. So in these, we're going to be distributing or foiling, and we're going to make it so that no more parentheses appear in the final result, and we're going to collect all common terms at the end to simplify. Some of these we might need to use special product formulas, and I'll mention that if it happens. So let's look at the first one here. So it looks like I have something plus something, something minus something. This looks like a FOIL situation. So I'm going to go ahead and do foiling. So first, 1 times 2 is 1, or sorry, it's 2. Sorry, it's a little late at night here, so forgot how to multiply 1 times 2. All right, so first, outer, so this is 1 times negative m. Make sure you include the sign here. This minus m is really plus negative m. So 1 times negative m is negative m. And then inner, m times 2 is 2m. And then last, m times negative m is negative m squared. Okay, so that's the first one. And then I can combine this negative m and this 2m on the next sweep, but I'll just wait until the next line to do that. Now for the second part here, we can also FOIL. You might recognize that this is a special form. This is difference of squares. But even if you didn't, it's okay. But the important thing here is we're going to need to subtract what we get from this FOILing, because this minus here is being applied to the entire expression. Okay, so we got to keep this minus outside of whatever we get when we FOIL this. I'm going to do first, 3 times 3 is 9, outer, 3 times m is 3m, inner, so negative m times 3, negative 3m. Last, negative m times m is negative m squared. So you see why this is difference of squares, because these two cancel out, and you just have 9 minus m squared, so a square minus a square. Let's go to the next line, simplify. So I have a 2 here. I have like terms here, so they each have 1 power of m. So minus m and 2m. This is like if I have 2 oranges and then I take away 1 orange, I'm left with 1 orange, 1m. M squared is a different thing entirely. It's like apples and oranges. I cannot combine my m and my m squared. And then over here, I need to make sure to distribute this negative to all the terms inside here. So I'm going to have negative 9. And then negative m squared is positive m squared. So now I do see some things I can combine. So this 2 and this 9 don't have any m's, so I can just do 2 minus 9. So 2 minus 9 is negative 7. This is my only m. Everything else is m squareds. So I'm going to keep my m. And now this negative m squared and this positive m squared actually cancel out. So I have nothing left except for this negative 7 plus m. And you could write this as m minus 7 if you wanted to, just so it's in 3 characters instead of 4, but that doesn't matter. All right, that's the final result. Let's look at another one. So this one is a little trickier because I think I'm going to end up with some t cubed in the end. Be careful that we are being asked to expand, not to factor, because this does look like something I could also factor. When you're writing your t's in math, I suggest that you change your handwriting. I had to change mine too I was already in my 30s when I finally made the change. Write your t's with this little hook on the bottom. It's kind of like in Times New Roman. They have like these little feet at the bottom. That's to distinguish it from a plus sign. So it's hard to get used to changing your handwriting, but there are some times when you need to in math. So the T with the hook at the bottom like this keeps it from looking like a plus. Okay, anyway. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to distribute this t squared to the 2 terms here. So I'm going to have t squared times t, that's t cubed. And then I have t squared times negative 2, so that's negative 2t squared. All right, and now the second one is a little bit harder here because this whole factor here, the t minus 2, is being squared. So that has to be FOILed. I know you wish you didn't have to. You wish you could just distribute this 2 to the t and the negative 2, but no, you cannot distribute exponents over addition or subtraction. So I'm going to leave this t in the front for now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to FOIL because this is really t minus 2, t minus 2. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that on the next line, the foiling. It's t in the front. Okay, so t times t is my f, t squared. My outer, t times negative 2, negative 2t. My inner, negative 2 times t, negative 2t. And my last, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. There's also a special product formula for this. It's like the first thing squared plus 2 times the product of the two things plus the second thing squared. But if you forget, you can just FOIL it out like I'm doing here. That's one of those formulas that doesn't really make it that much faster. Okay, so I'm just going to simplify inside the parentheses here, and then I'm going to distribute t. So this is negative 4t. All right, and now I'm going to distribute t to these 3 terms inside. And then I'm going to collect everything. Collect my apples, oranges, and pears. So t times t squared is t cubed. T times negative 4t is negative 4t squared. T times 4 is 4t. Okay, now what do I mean about apples, oranges, and pears? Is I have 3 different kinds of things here. I have things that have a t cubed factor. So those are like apples. I have things that have a t squared factor. Those are like oranges. And I have things that just have a t factor. Those are like pears. So we cannot add those things together. I cannot combine my apples with my oranges. But I can combine apples with apples and oranges with oranges. So I have a t cubed here, and I have another t cubed here. That's 2t cubed. Now, sometimes if I have a lot of terms and I'm going to kind of lose track of which ones I've already put down here, I might make a little mark to tell myself that I've already done those ones. Like I might cross them out or underline them or something. Now t squareds, I have negative 2t squared here and another negative 4 here. So that's negative 6t squared. And I did those ones. And now all that's left is this 4t. Okay, that's all expanded and I've collected the like terms. This is the result. Let's do one more. So in this one, we're going to do a 6-part distribution. So I'm distributing x squared minus 2x plus 7 and x plus 2. Those are my 2 factors. So this is kind of similar to FOIL, except, well, we have more than 2 things in here. So the key thing is to make sure that every term here, each of these 3 terms, gets multiplied with each of these 2 terms here. So if there's 3 terms here and 2 terms here, we're multiplying together 6. We're going to have 6 things in our result. So I'm just going to go one by one. So I'm going to do x squared times x and x squared times 2. So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 2 is 2x squared. Now I'm going to do negative 2x times x and negative 2x times 2. So far, it just looks like foiling. So negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 2 is negative 4x. But now I have one more thing. So I got to distribute this 7 to the x and 7 to the 2. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 2 is 14. So you see I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. And now I have to collect my like terms. So in this case, they're all kind of close together already. I have 2x squared minus 2x squared. So that's going to cancel. And then I have this negative 4x and this positive 7x. So I'm going to end up with x cubed, and this is going to be positive 3x, and then plus 14. And that's it.